Okay, diving into the project for the week. So in your announcement, you can see I have a couple of links here. So I gave you guys some creative examples for social good, and then specifically some examples that have been done in this course. So we're going to just go ahead and look at a few of them. So first off, in the spec sheet that I'm going to go over, I talk about a mood board. So if you don't have a lot of experience with mood boards, Behance is a great place to start. So a mood board being basically something that you would present to a client that would be a visual format. So for example, just pretend you're talking to someone that doesn't know anything about design. So a mood board would help them to understand what would be the aesthetic that you're going for. You'd have things like color swatches and fonts and images that would show the look that you want to be using when it comes down to designing for them. All right, so Behance has some excellent mood board examples. The next link that I gave one specifically to, let's look at this one first. So I gave one just for social good, because when we get to the spec sheet, you'll notice that it's only giving a limited range of topics that you can choose from. We'll talk about that. But just social good in general would be anything that's promoting some kind of social prompt from the public to do something good, whether it be for the environment, whether it be for your neighbor, whether it be for animals, you know, anything that's basically going to give you that warm and fuzzy feeling that's not going to be spreading just necessarily a product. So that's what I would consider social good. So I linked that here so that you can see some general examples. But then the other one that I gave is on some specific examples done by other students. All right, so I'm just going to take you through those and then dive into the spec sheet. I'm going a little bit out of order today. So this one was called Food for All Seasons. That's the logo that they came up with. And it was a social good project bringing awareness to hunger and food insecurities. And you can read through it on your own time, but just to kind of give you a little bit of a background to the project. So just talking about hunger and how we don't even know what people are going through every day and dealing with it. So the target audience for this campaign specifically includes those who have been blessed and have the money to donate and help their neighbors in their community. And she went in specifically ages and the household income and so forth, which will be on your spec sheet. Then these are all the different variations that she came up with for her first logos with her concepts, which is what we'll be working on this week. We'll be working on the concepts and then the thumbnails and then the finals. Okay, so you can see her the mock-ups here and the things that she came up with. What if you didn't have money to pay rent? What if you didn't have money to fix your car? What if you didn't have money to pay for hospital bills? And then it goes into a little bit more like how you could apply for those things or donate to those things. And so these would be the groceries. That would be the prompt from this company. And then some just different mock-ups on where they would exist in print, in digital format, and then also a little teaser, which you guys can also watch on your own time. Okay, another one was Teach K through 12, so Teach Jesus, which was specifically for K through 12. And these were her social mock-ups. So basically kind of like a keeping Christ in the classroom type of situation. What it would look like in an editorial format. Her billboard mock-up. And then some social media mock-ups, which you can see a little bit better if there we go. A little bit skewed in this one, but that's okay. And then what it would look in a web application. And lastly was one of my favorites called Pals for Seniors. Now I know there's actually a bunch of companies and things like that kind of exist like this, but this was their own creative spin on it. Pals for Seniors, you know, this is the logo that they came up with. Super cute, you know, kind of has that handwriting aspect, and it would be, you know, writing letters for seniors, and kind of like a pen pal thing. So it's very, very unique. It has a little smiley face, you know, to kind of represent the, like, bringing, you know, older people out of depression by having that pen pal relationship. And then it talks about the actual premise of it. 1/3 of adults 65 or older are socially isolated and struggle with loneliness. Pals for Seniors is a persuasive social good campaign created in collaboration to fight the growing issue of elderly loneliness. So it's basically a pen pal club between older communities and college students, which is kind of a nice idea. So the primary logo, the secondary, and then this gets into the mood board that I talked about. The digital sketches for the logo. And then looking at it in application. So this would be kind of like a bus wraparound graphic at a bus stop. And then you could see where you could drop the letters with all the matching posters as well. That would be the other side. And then part of this, I believe, was it was like a pre-sorted mail type situation. So you could sign up to do it and be a pen pal, and they would send you the kit. All you would have to do is write it, which is like super awesome. You didn't even have to pay for postage or anything like that. And then this would be a bus stop. So a little wrap for the bus stop. And the rest of the collateral. This is probably one of my favorite pieces. The social promotion, or the social media, you could see they did case studies on different elderly people, who they are, and a little bit about them, so as kind of a social prompt on this is who you might be writing to. And you can see it's the carousel graphic, so there would be multiples. So really fantastic work here. So when you get to the project aspect of it, I have the spec sheet downloaded so we could go over that. So again, you kind of have an idea based off the campaign what we're doing. So you can pick any of the topics here: adoption, environmental pollution, hunger and food insecurity, accessibility for Americans and disabilities, or the opioid crisis. If you have something specifically that you want to do it in mind, I'm also open if you want to email me. If you want to do something, I've seen a ton of stuff on animals. That's why I took it out of here, just because, we can kind of go back to the basics on some of these things. Talking about the phases that we're going to be working on here. Okay, so we'll be working on this for 3 weeks, and each week is going to build upon the week before it. And then the final deliverable will be at the end of the 3rd week. So what we're going to be doing for the final, you saw some of the visuals. You'll have a logo to brand your campaign. Campaign elements will have a series of 3 ads which are cohesive in message and visually unified, but not exactly identical. 1 print ad, which is 8.5 by 11, 1 outdoor ad, which would be a billboard, outdoor signage, or ambient, basically, meaning like you saw the bus stop wrap. So depending on what you come up with your concepts, we can discuss that one-on-one. 1 social media ad, square orientation for either Instagram or Facebook, and then an editorial spread, which would be a 2-page spread. Each page must be 8.5 by 11. Now, let's talk a little bit about this spread. I'm flexible on this as well. If you think that your campaign would benefit from another application, meaning a brochure or a postcard or another, like when you saw the bus wrap, another application besides the editorial spread, I am also open to suggestions. Because not every specific application would necessarily need to run in a magazine. You might think that it needs to, have an extra social promotion. So if you're feeling creative and those things come up, just put it in your research to me and we'll talk about it. Okay? So the first thing that you're doing is you're going to be coming up with the proposal. You're going to be developing a well-designed 4-page research document, which includes a proposal, strategy, collected visual research, and mood board. Now, you've all had a project that's been graded by me up until this point, so when it talks about it being well designed, I probably already mentioned if it looks like a Word document, try again. It should be aesthetically pleasing as well, okay? So all items detailed below must be fully answered and collected. So let's just go over all of that. So you must first choose one of the following topics, which I mentioned, and then you should have the following. So your first page should be research. Think about the problem that you want to solve. What's the specific social problem you wish to change through your design solution? Remember, you're being asked to choose from the issues that I gave and to narrow it down to a specific location, age group, audience, and to give your personal, unique approach what you think you're going to be changing, okay? The purpose of it. What specifically do you want to do as a result of your campaign? So you make this fantastic ad. So what's the purpose of it? Do you want someone to be inspired to volunteer? Do you want someone to give time or serve? Do you want them to give money? Do you want them to adopt or build or even write a senator or a senior, as you saw in the one that I mentioned was one of my favorites? There's so many different prompts that you could basically be like, I want this to be the outcome. All right. Research, you want to find actual legitimate sources, so statistics, articles, testimonials, things that are helping you back up that this is actually a problem. What other campaigns are out there on this topic? Make sure yours is different. Don't copy anyone else's work. Describe each resource and what it provides for your campaign, and then cite them. So, your for most of you, it'll be a website, and then you could say, this is the information that I got from this site, and this is why it's important. Okay. Number 4 is biblical support. Why is this project important? What is the biblical support for this idea? And make sure you have scriptural references in context. You don't have to go big with this, but at least have a verse or something that you're kind of referencing as kind of like your backbone. Okay, the second page will be your visual research. So 10 visual images or examples of social good campaigns, and they don't specifically need to be about your topic. Maybe it's just the style that you like, or you like the verbiage, you like the way the images are created, and that's something that you might be taking with you into the next round of your work. And then page 3, the proposal. This is where you would describe your whole campaign. What's the title that you came up with? What's the purpose? How is your campaign going to inspire positive change? And what specifically are you asking your audience to do? Okay, here it talks about the specific things that you need to define as your audience. And then page 4 is your mood board. So collect at least 20 images of the style or look that you think you're going to move forward with. Showing the tone for what you think you want to do, color references, type references, things to really help me as the professor really be able to help you creatively actually create this campaign. Okay, the expectation is basically saying don't copy anybody else's work, and make sure everything is your own. So from here on out, you and I will be working one-on-one every week until this is done. So when you submit your proposal to me, you'll probably get a video just like this back, because it's much easier than typing it all out. So we might be emailing each other a little bit more for the next 3 weeks, since this is such a big project. All right, everybody have a fantastic week, and I look forward to your ideas.